Hey guys, what's going on out there? Hey Jets Twitter, my Jet friends, my Jets brothers and my sisters. I'm so happy. I'm so excited. The day is here. Man, I'm amped. This is it. It's draft day, baby. Going on, guys. See a lot of you coming in. Again, like always, thank you for being here for the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. Special event because today is a special event. It's the draft. Man, I'm excited. The draft, as I've told you guys, that's my thing, man. That's my day. Like everyone's got, some people got Christmas, some people got, something they Thanksgiving or whatever it is. My day's the draft. Every day, every year, I get amped. Like that's my thing. Like I'm excited. There's something different in the air on draft day. But I noticed this morning when I was at work, that doesn't usually happen. I was feeling very anxious. I was feeling very stressed. I didn't get it. It was weird. I'm never stressed on draft day. I'm always amped. I wasn't sure why. And then I realized I'm stressed because of how big a decision this is. We're taking a quarterback, and I'm excited. I am. I'm excited. But just to think about, no matter how good Joe Douglas or Robert Saleh are, if they make the wrong decision here, that's it. It's a big decision. We're getting our guy of the future. And you guys know how I feel about Zach. Shout out, John. Appreciate, like always, appreciate all you guys being here. And you guys know how I feel about Zach. I felt that way for a long time, going back, to December, back when, we lost out on Trevor Lawrence and I looked at the other prospects and I just instantly fell in love. This is the guy I want. And at the time, as you guys know, everyone was telling me I was crazy and no one was talking about him. So I was like, we're never going to get this kid. Now it feels like a reality. I mean, every angle, everywhere is talking about Zach Wilson. Everyone's saying that Zach's the guy. So I feel good about it. But I guess, it's the last day. So I've, been excited. I'm amped about Zach. But it's the last day, so my brain's reminding me, maybe they could take somebody else. It could be somebody else. And as you guys know, the way I feel about it, I'm going to be bummed out if it's not Zach. I'll be honest. That's my guy. I think he's got so much potential and really love what I see in him. But I also really like Trey Lance. I really, really do. He's raw. He's not ready to start yet. I mean, I don't hate Justin Fields. I feel like the talent is there. He's unbelievably athletic, and he's got a great throwing arm, excellent deep ball, great athlete, great football, great throwing arm. But I don't see those cerebral traits that, I talk about with Zach Wilson, that I've seen a little bit with Trey Lance. So I want Zach, but whoever it is, we got to get behind it. That's just how it is with the quarterback position. I'm a little stressed, but I'm also amped because it's exciting, man. Draft day is here. So what you guys came to talk about won't take too much of your time because there's other stuff going on. You guys want to go watch that draft. We're going to talk about pick 23, okay? That's what we're going to talk about. So at pick 23, there's so many interesting options the Jets can choose to explore and the Jets can choose to do. Just quick, as Andre brought it out, shout out to Andre. Said he wasn't sold on Wilson last few days. Look back at the tape. He showed flashes. Yep. Yeah, I appreciate the comments, man. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Keep it coming. But yeah, at 23, there's a lot of different options that can be had. As you guys know, I want Creed Humphrey. Like, Creed's my guy. Like, I really, really want Creed. I've told you guys why. You guys know all about it. It's crazy. So many people are saying he's the 50th ranked prospect. He's not worth the first round pick. That's crazy. Why? Because they said he wasn't a good run blocker. Well, I've shown you in 2019 how that's wrong. He actually has been a good run blocker, but that's not what he's great at. He's a great pass blocker. That's what Creed does. And not only is he a great pass blocker, he's that cerebral center, the aspect we've talked about, being that second QB, everything Mangold was to Sanchez to the guards, helping everybody grow and everybody develop. So I want him bad. Now, that's my guy. There are potentially, top guys that if they're there, you can't pass on. And one of them has been vera-tucker. Everyone talks about vera-tucker. In fact, people talk about trading up to get vera-tucker. But here's what's interesting about that situation. When it comes to offensive line, I always say this because it's interesting because, some people say, oh, this team, that team. Everybody can use help. Everyone's offensive line is probably not the greatest. Everyone's offensive line, especially interior guys and tackles, everybody, honestly. And offensive line can always use help. So it's tough to, predict where Vera-Tucker would go. One big option, I think, is he's been hyped, and that's the big thing with Vera-Tucker. He, I pointed this out. Back when the season was going on, it wasn't just Vera-Tucker. It was AVT and Wyatt Davis as the consensus two best guys. That's what they were saying. It was both of them. But yeah, Vera-Tucker's better. He's graded out better. He's a better technician. And Wyatt Davis is an excellent run blocker. So I want to put him next to Creed Humphrey. But he's not the best pass blocker. He's going to develop and learn, but he's not the best yet. So VT is shot up boards. AVT is just shot up. So, but to get AVT, I feel like the Vikings are one of the best landing spots potentially because, again, all teams can use offensive linemen. Offensive linemen are hard to predict because most teams would just take them if they feel like, that guy is an instant upgrade over what they have, which a lot of times can happen. So with the situation, with Vera-Tucker, I think not Washington, my apologies. I think the Vikings could be a potentially good option for him at 14, but he may not make it out of the top 15. So if you want to trade up for a guy like that, you may really need to trade up. I mean, that's the thing. Getting him is kind of like getting a Rashad Slater. And getting Rashawn Slater is going to be potentially in the top 10. I would say a minimum top 15. Again, I see the Vikings as, a good last case scenario. If he's still there at 14, I see them taking him. There are other teams that need interior offensive linemen as well. It's hard to predict where he would go because, again, so many teams could potentially take him or he could go. So I had a fun game. If you guys wanted to try it, I figured we can give it a shot. I figured I would open up a mock quick. And, just because, again, Vera-Tucker could fly anywhere, I could show you guys, we'll do a couple quick ones, very quick ones. We'll just shoot through and see, where he winds up going, just to maybe get a general idea, see what they do. So let's give that a shot. Let's try that. So I actually wanted to show you guys this as well, actually. So I brought this up. Again, talking about interior offensive line not being an issue. And I've mentioned this before, especially with Creed Humphrey. Everybody can use a guy like him. Like, even if you have a decent center, you probably don't have one with those kind of cerebral film junkie study call-out defense abilities. So you shift him to guard. Take a look at this for a sec. These are what you would call, primary, secondary, ancillary. These are what they say teams don't need. And you rarely see offensive linemen. Take a look. Tackle, defensive, running back, tight end, quarterbacks. Here you have the Colts. I guess the Colts, they got Quinn Nelson. So the Colts are blessed. The Colts can count their lucky stars. They got Quinn Nelson. So they're good. But that's it. Everyone else, feel free to take a look, is not have offensive line, except the Saints. Offensive line is rare to see, extremely rare to see. Everyone could usually use them. So it's hard to predict, potentially where a guy like that would even go. So what I figured we could do quick, again, I'll show you guys. We'll go quick to the sim. I figure we'll just bang through a couple. Why not? Let's just see where Vera-Tucker goes. Quick. We'll even go fast speed so it just bangs through. We'll take Wilson automatically. And just see where, he goes. So let's see if he's available at 23. Forget the trades. No, see, he went 19. See, he went 19 to Washington. So that's where he went there. Bang it up again. Do it quick. Just do a fast one. See if he's available now. So this is try 2. He went one pick before. He actually went one pick before. So he went 22 to the Titans. See, again, a lot of teams can always use an offensive lineman. And we'll do one more. And I think the point that's actually making is it could be random. It's hard to really predict where really good offensive linemen go because really good offensive linemen are everyone's need. I mean, anyone who tells you, I guess, again, the Colts, because they got Quinn Nelson. Anyone who tells you they don't need a quality offensive lineman is lying to your face. Okay, he's there. He's there. So this is 1 out of 3. So 1 out of 3, 33%. That tells us, just doing it 3 times, that Vera-Tucker will be available 33% of the time. Potentially, if we just do those 3. We could always run a little bit more. John Post, yeah, he's definitely a top 20. I agree. And I think that's the thing. You'd have to trade up to get him. And Joe showed it with Mims, man. Joe, and you guys know we talked about it. It's amazing. Denzel Mims was projected to be a first-round pick. The fact that he was even available at our second round was awesome. And then Joe trades back, and we're like, oh, you missed out on Mims. And he still got Mims. So and I've said it before, that tells me that he's got a keen eye to what other teams want to do, to potentially what they want to do, which is interesting. So maybe he has an idea who wants to do that. But again, that's what I was kind of trying to show. I brought up the team needs just to give you an example. Only 2 teams have interior offensive line listed. And you know what? I bet if they can get an upgrade, they do it. Offensive line is always something you're willing to upgrade. So it's when you have a guy of like Slater's or Sewell or Vera-Tucker's quality, it's hard to predict, who would pass on them, because theoretically a lot of teams would take him. And as we just saw, he went to 2 different teams, but he fell to us. I've seen him fall in mocks, so there's a chance Vera-Tucker does fall to us. If Joe trades up, I mean, again, going back to the mock, for example, looking here, before he went 22, and the other time he went 19. So he fell out of the top 15, which surprises me. I honestly, again, because he's been hyped so much. And there's a reason he is. In pass and run protection, he's graded in the top of college football. So I think he can go top 15 potentially. But if he's going 19, 22, it may not cost a lot to get up there. I mean, just off the top of my head, I would say something like, obviously, the 23rd. You're giving that away. And I would say maybe the 86th, flat out, potentially. To only go up one spot, the 22nd, you might be able to get away with giving away like the 108th-ish, I would say. But to get up to 19, maybe the 86th, it's not a lot. And again, when you have a guy like Vera-Tucker, I pointed that out with Creed, and same reason I think Creed could be gone. There are not a lot of, I keep saying this, there are not a lot of cerebral centers in the NFL, period. Nick Mangolds are rare. You know that. You don't see them very often. To get one in the draft is really rare. People saying he's not a first-round pick as a run block, stop it. Just stop it. We know he is. So he could potentially be the pick there if Vera-Tucker's gone. That's who I want. If you can't get a guy like Vera-Tucker, I'm also going to mention Owusu-Koramoah as well. I would easily go with Creed Humphrey. But with the situation, you could trade up. You could theoretically trade up to 19 to 22 in that range. And if Joe Douglas does, I think that's an indicator. If he trades up 4 or 5 picks, he's saying that he's taking Vera-Tucker. That's pretty much what he's saying. It's the same thing kind of like when I said when, the fact that they were, the San Francisco didn't try to get 2 meant we were going quarterback. Same thing. If Joe trades up 4 or 5 picks, give or take, it's because he's getting Vera-Tucker. If he trades up higher than that, which is always possible if you guys want to throw that one out there, we have picks. And again, there's so many options here. We have a lot of picks. Maybe, and I've shown this earlier today, if you guys want to check it out, I used regular trade calculators and metrics, and with our 23rd and 34th pick, if we package the 2 of them together, we could move up to like pick 11, pick 12, and maybe there's a Rashad Slater is available, maybe like Sewell dropped, or maybe, God forbid, Pitch dropped, something crazy. That would be an interesting option. If one of those like elite guys is available in that 10 to 12, 13 range, that could be an interesting option. It's a lot to give up. But again, if the guy is amazing, you don't question that. It's the same thing like, if we trade up to get Creed, if Creed's Nick Mangold, nobody's going to say, oh, you gave away all those picks. They're going to say the opposite. They're going to say, that's it? They're going to say, you traded away, that's it? That's all you gave away for that kid? That's what they're going to say. So that's the situation with Vera-Tucker. Another guy, if you guys check him out right here, is Owusu-Koramoah. I've mentioned him, and I've told you guys, I'm not going to give you my linebacker take. I've put it on Twitter. I've mentioned it's on YouTube. Please check it out. We're infinitely worse at linebacker than we are at corner. Infinitely. People want corner at 23 and 34. I don't get it. Owusu-Koramoah is the best linebacker in this draft. Micah Parsons is better if you line him up on the line of scrimmage, going at the quarterback, playing on the line. That's it. Owusu-Koramoah is better in everything else. He was the Butkus award winner, the nation's best linebacker for a reason. He's excellent in coverage, man and zone, great awareness, great ball skills, great agility. He checks every box. He checks every single box. Again, people say Parsons is the best. No. In every other category but rushing the passer, it's Owusu-Koramoah. So if he's available at 23, or let's say Vera-Tucker slips. If we trade up, that's different. If we trade up to get Vera-Tucker, that's it. Joe's not trading up and trading up again. That's not happening. He's not insane. He's not Mike McCagnon or anyway, John Idzik, whoever you want to pick. So if he trades up to get Vera-Tucker, that's it. We trade up, we get Vera-Tucker, and that's a home run. I mean, I want Creed Humphrey. Could he be there at 34? Yes, it's possible, because 34 is technically still a first-round pick. 34, basically up to like 35, 36-ish, is basically a first-round pick. So Creed could definitely be there, potentially, at that option, but I don't want to risk it. I guess if we got Vera-Tucker, I'd be willing to risk it, but we could, it's if we trade up. So there's a lot of options, that's the point, a lot of balls in the air, a lot of options that can happen. If we trade up to get Vera-Tucker, that's it. Over. If we don't trade up, no trade up, and at 23, a guy like Vera-Tucker falls or Owusu Koromoa falls, I told you guys what I want to do. I want to get on the phone immediately before the pick because it influences the decision. I want to get on the phone with the Steelers, and I want to try to get that 24th pick. I put together, you guys have seen it, a couple of packages that aren't bad. It's a 3rd and a 5th round pick, and that's it. 3rd and 5th round pick to get Creed Humphrey and guarantee it is worth it. So if you can get Vera-Tucker at 23 or Owusu Koromoa at 23, you get on the phone with the Steelers, you figure that trade out, you get to pick 24, you do something amazing. And Jet fans, just try to imagine getting Zach Wilson at 2 and then having 2 back-to-back picks. Come on. Come on, that's exciting stuff. So they trade up, they get 24, they have 2 back-to-back picks. They take either Vera-Tucker or Owusu Koromoa at 23, and then they take Creed at 24. And that would be, at that point, it's gravy, baby. At that point, whatever Joe does, that's it. He killed it. The home run, the ball's out of the park. Whatever he does at that point, literally just gravy. Love it. So that's another way to go. Potentially, and it depends who's there. I mean, if Kwity Paye's there, I could argue the trade up again as well. It depends who's there. But I really, really like Owusu Koromoa, as you guys know, for the reasons I've mentioned. And I really, really like, as everyone does, Vera-Tucker. So I still want to get Creed, though. Those are my different scenarios of doing it. Most likely, though, the most likely scenario, Vera-Tucker has been hyped into, again, one of the best guards in a long time, a very long time. And he's literally, they're kind of turning him into a generational talent, which is funny because, again, I've mentioned this to you guys in the past. Go back and what do they like to say on Twitter? Check the receipts. Check the receipts. Back during the season, it was Vera-Tucker and Wyatt Davis as the best guards. It was both of them. They were like, these are the best. But then people realized that Wyatt Davis wasn't the best in pass coverage, and Vera-Tucker just grades across the board and everything, and he became this heralded prospect. So I think Vera-Tucker is definitely gone, I think, in the top 15, honestly. I really see him gone within that range. Owusu Koromoa, and you guys also know I like J.C. Horn, but I think J.C. Horn may not even make it out of the top 11, top 10, to be honest. I think the Cowboys could be a really good option for him. People say Patrick Surtain, and again, Jerry Jones likes the name. That's true. Jerry Jones is a name guy. So, and they need a cornerback. So if it's Surtain or Horn, he might take Surtain. But you guys know I like Horn. I mean, Surtain is awesome. Surtain is good, but Horn is just as good, and Horn's just scratching the surface of that potential. I've mentioned it before, I think the other day. Horn is going to be like Revis in a way. He's going to put receivers on islands. That's going to be the kind of, Horn is going to be a true shutdown cornerback. The kid is super glue in coverage. And like Revis, he's got pretty damn good ball tracking skills. He finds the ball well and picks it more often than not. So that kid is very impressive. I don't think he falls. I don't think Owusu Koromoa is going to fall either. I don't think Vera-Tucker is going to fall. So most likely the 3 of them are gone. I'm going Creed. That's that. Again, you guys know why, the cerebral center. It's an easy option. They're gone. Creed Humphrey's the pick. If they're there, then again, that's where that fun comes in. That's where we try to work it out where, again, maybe Joe chooses to draft and move up for Vera-Tucker. And again, if that happens, that's it. Just to keep that in mind. If he moves up and trades picks to get Vera-Tucker, there's no more magic happening in the first round. That's magic enough, guys. That is literally magic enough. So if that happens, that's it. If they stay put at 23, it depends on, again, like I was just saying, if those guys are potentially on the board, I would trade back up to get like a Creed Humphrey. I wouldn't risk it at 34. And then, with 34, I was going to talk more about it tomorrow, but we could talk now. I've mentioned, I want to go Wyatt Davis. And I feel Wyatt Davis does make the most sense because, again, thinking of the situation, Creed is not just that cerebral center, but he's an outstanding pass blocking, something that McGovern has sucked in, something he's been very, very bad in. And he's also been bad at picking up adjustments. And again, we blame the guards. That wouldn't fly with a player like Nick Mangold. That wouldn't be happening. So it's an interesting situation. But so you got Creed at center, McGovern, the better run blocker. Same thing with Davis. Two excellent run blockers. Now, Davis can still develop. Davis can definitely still develop more as a pass blocker. McGovern, we have to accept it, guys. The guy's been in the league 5 years. He was pretty bad for the majority of the season, and then he played pretty well toward the end. That's probably about his ceiling. That's probably going to be about his ceiling. He's going to be very bad to very good. He's going to fluctuate, maybe get to average. That's the ceiling, which, again, you put him as a run blocker, play him at guard, let him focus on just run blocking. That's a different situation. I think he'll thrive there. So, again, you got the cerebral center calling out the defensive adjustments, helping the guards, helping Davis and McGovern pick up reads, pick up adjustments, pick up slack, pick up their defender if they're slacking themselves. I've literally seen McGovern block two men. I've literally seen plays where McGovern's like, you don't got this? That's fine. I got it. Sorry, Humphrey blocked two men. Humphrey's like, I got this, and he's got both of them. So that's a really sweet situation. I really want to double down on offensive line. I've mentioned again that linebacker is a major, major problem, and Owusu-Koramoah is incredible, so I want to go him there. If we don't get Owusu-Koramoah, and again, you guys have, if you haven't heard I have my linebacker take on YouTube. I'm telling you, you'll see that linebacker is infinitely more of a need than corner. I really want Nick Bolton later in the draft because Nick Bolton is awesome. He's the second best off-ball linebacker in this draft. I'd say it right here. He's better than Zaven Collins, in my opinion. Next to Owusu-Koramoah, Nick Bolton is the second best off-ball linebacker. This kid is fast, quick. He packs a punch. Like I say, punch like his ancestors feel it punch. This kid murders dudes outright, plays with a tenacious force, but he plays well. He's got good field vision, and he's outstanding in zone coverage. Like this kid reads the quarterback phenomenally. He picks up the play. You watch his eyes. He bats the pass so many times. The beauty of him, which I like, and again, you check out the linebacker take I have, Mosley is also a question mark. We don't want to accept it, but he could be. Let's say, God forbid, he gets hurt. Bolton's the kind of player that can move to a Mike. Bolton's the kind of guy that can thrive as that outside linebacker, but if, God forbid, something happens to Mosley, he can be plugged into that Mike position and be the Mike and be the leader and the excellent drive-by in that defense. So like what I've done with Davis, like with Creed, I've started to pencil Bolton in. The problem is a lot of people are on to Bolton. I was hoping we can get him at 66. Daniel Jeremiah had him as his 39th ranked prospect. We might need to trade up for him. I would do it. Again, if we don't get Owusu-Koramoah, if we get Owusu-Koramoah, then we don't need to trade up for Nick Bolton. If he falls to 66, that's gravy. But again, there's so many moving factors. So that's really what it comes down to. But John mentions he'd be surprised. Would I be surprised if the Jets went running back at 23? I would. I honestly would. And I think it's because, we've seen it in Salah's team, but in the LaFleur offense before, that the running back committee is what thrives. Salah's teams are known for having no-name running backs, Moser, becoming amazing guys because they function well together as a unit. They have good blocking, good zone schemes that open up big holes. Remember, we used to joke back in the day, if you got a big enough hole, any running back's going to look like a damn hero. So offensive line is key to begin with. You have to have a great offensive line. If they can't, open up the trenches and there's no damn hole. But I don't see why we'd go running back that high. It just doesn't make sense to me because I've pointed out before, I've told you guys about, if you haven't seen it, I've done the stats on Ty Johnson, Josh Adams. I've shown you guys that their numbers were high. Their percentages, their averages, everything was high. They were just getting one carry a game because he was giving the ball to freaking Frank Gore, 1,000-year-old Frank Gore the whole game. But there's a lot of potential there. Tevin Coleman factored in. That's a decent committee, pretty decent committee, actually, and they complement each other well. Same thing I say with the wide receiver core. People are like, we need a wide receiver early. We don't. Corey Davis and Denzel Mims together, that's 2 wide receiver 2 minimums with wide receiver 1 potential. You factor in Jamison Crowder, one of the best slots in the league. You factor in Keelan Cole, who's been excellent in his own right. He's been made some highlight reel catches that I've seen. It's an underappreciated top 4. We have a decent receiver core, decent running back core. Sure, we could take positional guys later in the draft. We need to get offensive linemen. We need to get linebackers. And of course, at 2, we're going our quarterback. So that's been my take on the situation. I wanted to, again, just tell you guys about the way I would do it if it's unfolding. And as you noticed, I painted a couple of different scenarios, and that's because there's so many moving parts. And that's one of the things I love about the draft. As you guys know, I'm a big prospect guy. Like, I love like how this kid fits there. The dynamics of when there's a surprise, I love it. Like where a team surprises you and takes a guy you didn't expect them to take, or an unannounced trade happens at the last minute. There's so many moving parts, and you don't know how the board is going to fall. So those are the options. Those are the options I'd laid out. If I were Joe Douglas, that's how I would handle the situation. So shout out to all you guys. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to John with the questions. John asked, about the running back position being surprised. If you guys have any other questions, now's the time to ask them. Please feel free. Ask your questions. Happy to answer them. Talk about anything before we get going. But that's how I really feel. That's how I feel at 23. That's how I feel at 34. And I've gotten glued at Nick Bolton, man, for the reasons, as you guys have heard in my linebacker take. I'm glued to Nick Bolton now for that ability to be the Mike, the outstanding linebacker. We might have to trade up for him. I potentially think we might, because he could go, honestly, anywhere in the 40 to 50 to 60 range, really. So it's a very interesting option to see how that goes. But, yeah, so I want to say, the draft is coming up. So hope you guys are ready. You got about an hour and a half. This is it, man. The clock is counting down. We're getting there. The draft is approaching. All the speculation, all the what ifs. Me, you're listening to me here, tell you about all the different scenarios. It's going to be over in a little bit. In a little bit, we're going to find out what really happens. We're going to find out what Joe Douglas does. And I can't wait, because you guys know I have faith in the man. I've laid out all the reasons, the philosophies, the free agency, the first free agency that was smart, balanced the budget, brought us from a deficit that Matt created to the third most richest team in the league last year. Good free agency. Sorry, last free agency. Good free agency. I'm excited, man. Joe Douglas knows what he's doing. And he may go differently than we all think. But I think we all agree that Joe Douglas in the driver's seat is going to work. That we may disagree, if he's going to go this way, that way, or the other way. But we know whoever Joe takes, we believe in that guy. We believe in him because we believe in Joe. And we're excited about what Robert Saleh is bringing to the table. So, like always, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. Love being with you. Super excited. Just so you know, I'm going to be live on the Weapons Hot podcast. We're also on YouTube if you check us out. I'm one of the hosts on there as well. There's 4 of us as hosts. It's called the Weapons Hot podcast. Find it on YouTube. I'm going to be there live during the draft. I'm going to freak out. I am. I'm hoping it's Zach Wilson and maybe I cry a little bit. That's the prayer. But check us out. Be there. I'm going to talk about all the picks, all the different options. I'm going to talk about, as you guys know, again, with looking at the draft, I'm going to do a 32-round mock. I'm going to talk about what all the teams are going to do. It's going to be basically like you see with the guys on the TV, but I'll be doing it. So if you guys want to tune in, be happy to have you. I'm really excited. Look forward to you guys being there. Like always, again, thank you for tuning in to the Take Flight Spit and Fire podcast. You got me, Harrison Glazer, and I want you guys to be excited about that draft. Get ready. Our future is beginning right